So you're getting very emotional.
Because this is serious.
Yes, of course it's serious.
I'm a white privileged male.
Stop
Why
it.
do you have to carry
Rape is
a
illegal.
gun to kill a male rapist when that male could just not rape in the first place?
I know. Wouldn't that be great?
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be
fucking great?
Yeah.
Do you know why women
Wouldn't it be
are
great
so...
if men didn't rape?
Yeah.
Who are you arguing with? It's the latest installment of Change My Mind. This time, male privilege is a myth. This is going to be fun. Hey, really quickly, want to hear from you. Which subjects would you like to see most going forward with Change My Mind? We've done pro-gun, pro-life, male privilege is a myth. There are two genders. Comment below, and we'll be doing them in the future. We'll get to the unedited segment interview in a second, but one thing that I want to note is that with these Change My Mind segments, we can go hours without a single person sitting down, willing to have a conversation. That's the part you don't see. We'll sit down, set up, and sometimes it's 30 minutes, 45, sometimes it's several hours. And as soon as one person sits, angry leftists surround and feel safe yelling from the mob. All of a sudden, I can't get to everyone fast enough. Got it. Great. So if you had proof, the statistics of according to the FBI. Wait, someone just booed, right?
We noted a boo. We noted a boo, and we would like to extend an invitation. Should you like to?
I'm really okay.
Beg your pardon? Well, you can sit down. You can sit down afterwards, and we'll do it. I appreciate it. Yeah, you can wait your turn. What was that? Continue my bullshit. Oh, there you go. That's always a sign of an intellectual titan. But you'll get a chance at that, sir. Now, we'll come back to this gentleman in a minute. He's actually the subject of today's long-form, unedited interview. I won't bore you with many conversations because there wasn't all that much productive to glean from it. If you look even at our SMU interviews, the one aggressive feminist kind of took over, it was confrontational, but all of the others were really productive. Every other Change My Mind we've ever done has been pretty productive. But I noticed when discussing the idea of male privilege, or any privilege for that matter, on campus, not only was pretty much everyone hostile off the bat, but not a single person provided any substantive argument. Every single point, without fail, was anecdotal. What rights are afforded in 2018 to men exclusively that aren't afforded to women?
I feel your male privilege is a myth. I feel like...
Because this is serious.
Yes, of course it's serious.
I'm a white privileged male.
Of course I chose it, of course, but I mean, the reason why I chose it then like shapes other opinions.
My friend
give me names.
raped within the first 2 weeks of coming to the school as a freshman.
This also might be why, despite having a permit, the gender studies professors who, along with their students, teach the injustice of police brutality inherently within the system, called the police on us simply for disagreeing. Quick, bring in the patriarchy. So we weren't really able to finish our conversations in the first place, and at this point, when everything was anecdotal, I kind of just have to pick one. Enter this guy, the person you saw before, who was yelling and cussing at me beforehand, who also stayed to yell and cuss at students afterward.
Like, I've never heard of
You don't see it?
No, I don't.
You're not a white girl, bro. You're not a girl. Hey! Raise your hand if you know someone's been raped on this campus.
Yes. Raise your hand if you think rape is a horrible thing.
Watch and make your own decisions. No, come up and debunk my bullshit.
All right, you're bullshit.
It's always a great way to start a civil conversation. What's your name, sir?
Gregory.
Gregory.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So why the anger and
So-
profanity? That was such a
Anger and
civil
profanity. Let
conversation.
me answer your question. So anger, profanity, because this is an extremely sensitive topic, and I think it's almost ironic you come like such a university that has such a problem with male privilege. And I know you guys, the last conversation was a lot about racial things, and you wanted to talk about laws, but I want to talk about really about the practicality. So practically, you know, I don't have a car here, so sometimes I like to go down, I go to yoga. When I walk back, it's at nights, I have my headphones on, I have like a hoodie on, so I'm not aware of my surroundings, and I feel perfectly comfortable doing that. I wasn't really conscientious of that my entire life until about a year ago. I was on the phone with my friend, and she said that she needed to get her textbook from her car, and it was like probably 11:30 at night, and she just wouldn't do it because she didn't feel comfortable. She didn't feel safe.
Sure.
And so that's something that's inherent as a male, biologically larger, and just like women. That's an inherent privilege.
Inherent privilege as a
Inherent
male.
privilege where I can
biological
do that.
privilege.
Biologically, you're going to be larger, taller, and you can overpower a woman, and for the most part.
So you believe? So you're saying that male, female is biological. First off, that's a premise.
I'm
that's
saying
important
there's
to set.
both biological and societal, and there's also systemic. Systemic's going to be where it's just ingrained in a society.
Okay.
So
could you, for example, explain to me what the difference would be between a biological male versus a systemic male, to use your words?
I did not say there's a difference between a biological male and systemic male. I'm talking about systemic male privilege and biological.
Okay.
male
Well, you said
privilege.
I'm biologically men are
biological-
bigger and stronger, right?
Yes, exactly.
Okay. So I just want to make sure we agree on the
Okay,
premise
so
that
let me clarify for you.
you're
Biologically, males have privilege because they are larger. Because of that, they have a certain safety afforded to them where they can go out and then they don't have to worry about. You had a horrible comparison earlier about how males are more vulnerable to being like burglarized or whatever your thing was.
No, I didn't. That wasn't what I said.
Okay, what did you say? They're more
I
likely to be like experience violence
Yeah.
than
okay.
women are.
Can I answer?
And
No,
they're not by the opposite
Can I-
gender though.
Can I answer?
Go ahead.
Yeah. No, they're statistically more likely to be victims of violent crime across the board.
By which gender?
No, you just said. Do you mean gender, biologically, or systemically?
What the fuck is this systemic
Well, you
gender?
just said there were
What is a
differences between
systemic gender?
biological,
You just said
societal, and systemic. I want to make sure we're talking about
systemic male
yeah,
privilege.
because
You're forgetting the privilege.
I'm forgetting the systemic privilege.
You just said
Let's-
what's the difference
let's
between
assume-
a biological gender and systemic gender?
Okay,
There's
well,
no
okay,
such
domestic-
thing as a systemic gender. Difference is
Okay,
that I'm
you-
making is
okay, hold on a
between
second.
biological gender privilege. Don't forget the privilege. It's very important.
Yeah, it's very important to remember the privilege. Yeah. Okay. Violent crime, many of them would be committed by men at large. Domestic violence is very comparable.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying
Yeah, domestic violence would be committed on the same rate from biological women to men as men to
I'm gonna make the
women.
presumption that men who are more like vulnerable to violence is by other men.
Statistically, having more being the victim of violent crime, yes. Statistically, also being the victim of domestic
would you agree
abuse.
that those victims, those male victims, are mostly being victimized by other men?
Sure, let's go with that. Yeah.
Sure. You think that's unlikely?
No, I didn't say it's unlikely. Let's
Okay.
go with that.
Okay. Well, let's.
Yeah.
I think we can all agree on that. And then so for women, they don't have that biologically. We're still on the biological part. Is
Right.
When they're smaller, when they can be overpowered more easily, they don't have the same privilege. When they can't go running by themselves.
Well, hold on a second.
late
Hold on a
at-
second.
No,
I just
let me
hold
finish
on
my
a second
sentence.
because you've never let
I'm
me
talking
finish
about
my
the
one sentence. You
practicality.
came in cussing at me, so I'm going to finish my sentence. And if you want to listen, that'd be great. If you don't, you don't have to. What I'm talking about here is privilege. I do not see it as a privilege having a violent crime committed against you at a multiple rate likelihood,
By other males.
whether
We're
it
talking
is
about
committed by
gender
a male, but the
differences.
man who is getting
Gender
violently
differences.
assaulted, I do not believe is more privileged than the woman who isn't. And statistically, that's the likelihood. It's
I
not a
believe
privilege.
it is because biologically, that male who's being assaulted by another male has a better chance of defending themselves than a female who is being assaulted by a male. And that's the gender difference. We're going to talk about male privilege.
Sure.
We have to talk about the influence on the opposite gender. I don't give a about when you're talking about like male on male crime.
Really? I do.
This is not what this is about. If
It
you want
is.
to talk about that,
Sure it
talk
is.
about crime. Let's talk about crime. When we're talking about male privilege,
Yes.
and I'm bringing up the biological inherent differences between the genders.
I agree I agree that biology
Women
determines sex and gender. Yeah.
Are less likely and less capable of defending themselves against the opposite gender. than
Sure.
Biological.
Listen, I agree.
differences.
That's why I'm a huge supporter of women concealing and carrying.
Okay, that's a completely different subject.
No, it's
Let's
not.
talk-
No, it's not. It's not
Okay,
at all.
yeah, I'm saying it's a different subject because women,
I don't want.
women
the
and-
point is, you're trying to set the premise as though for some reason
I'm
women
saying
are less
this is
likely.
Not,
Can
okay,
I
let me say
respond? Can I
two
respond?
things. 2 seconds. This is not about male on male crime, and this is not about access to firearms right now. I want to talk about the practical livelihood or existence of white.
We
of
want to
male
talk about
privilege.
systemic privilege. We want to talk
Okay,
about
so
systemic privilege,
systemically, let's
and
get
then
away from the
no, hold on a second.
biological.
You said 2 seconds. That was about 18. Okay,
ahead.
I'm going to speak
Okay,
now, and
good
I'm
for
not
you.
going to cuss at you. So
Fantastic.
the point is, we are talking about systemic privilege. No one at any point, I am still open to it. Anyone can sit down. Has given me any example of a right afforded to a man, not afforded to a woman. That's what we're really talking about with systemic privilege. Now we've just acknowledged, both of us, that men are statistically much more likely to be the victim of a violent crime. We're
Other men.
statistically much more likely to
Other
die at the
men.
workplace. Okay, now. this is something that matters to me and perhaps not to you, and then that's okay, we can disagree. I don't believe that the man who is 70, 80% more likely to have a violent crime committed against him is privileged, whether it's committed by another man or not. Now, I would agree, maybe we could find common ground in here. What I'm talking about is I don't want to see women victimized. As a matter of fact, most men don't. And the only way a woman would be able to defend herself against a violent crime, though statistically far less likely than that of it occurring with a man, would be a mechanical advantage in a firearm. Would you not agree?
Yeah, sure. Sure, yeah, but this is not about guns.
No, it is.
No.
It's about
No, this is
protecting
not
women,
about
and
guns.
it's about keeping women from being victimized.
Okay, cool. But men have also. But you want to talk about male privilege? So we're talking about differences between the genders. You want to talk about firearms real quick? Let's end that conversation with this. Men
That's
and
an
women do not have a
equalizer.
different accessibility to firearms.
No, they don't.
Exactly.
Exactly.
So
That's
this
a great
has nothing
thing.
To do, this has nothing
No,
to
it
do with
has
gender
no-
privileges.
There you go. There's no privilege there
What are
as
you
far as
talking
access to
about
firearms.
firearms?
What I'm talking about is wanting to have fewer. Let me boil it down in a way that maybe might be reductive. I would like to read far more headlines, okay, that say rapist shot dead in a ditch by a woman with a .38 special than woman raped on campus because of some concealed carry law.
Okay.
Okay, so
would
I don't
like to
want
see a lot
female
more
victims.
headlines that have nothing to do with rapists.
I
know?
would exactly.
You know why?
how do you stop
Why
it?
do you have to carry
Rape is
a
illegal.
gun to kill a male rapist when that male could just not rape in the first place?
I know. Wouldn't that be great?
Yeah.
Wouldn't it
would
be?
be fucking great? And
Yes.
do you know why women
Wouldn't it
are
be great
so-
if men didn't rape?
Yeah.
Who are you arguing with? You're Don Quixote fighting windmills, man. We all agree rape is bad. You think I'm here saying rape is
they
good?
Get away with it?
They don't get away
They don't
with
get
it.
fucking away with it?
No.
They get away with it on this motherfucking campus.
Really?
Yes, they fucking do.
Okay,
My
give me-
girl-
give-
my
give
friend
me names.
raped within the first 2 weeks of coming to the school as a freshman. She was a fucking virgin too. Milton
horrible.
Daniel Hall. You know what that motherfucker had to do? He had to move out of that hall.
But you had to move out of
That's
that hall.
about it.
Really?
Yeah,
So
that's
this
it.
so this was a rape.
That's
this
how
is
they do
interesting.
with
This was a see, you're getting very emotional.
Because
okay?
this is serious.
Yes, of course it's
I'm
serious.
a white privileged male. I can go in my,
Yeah.
I can stay in my little bubble of TCU. I don't have to turn my back. I don't have to worry about my job, my income or anything like that. I don't have to worry about getting raped.
Well, you should.
My friends do.
You should worry. You should worry about your
No,
income.
'cause-
You should worry about communicating
No,
with
I'm
other. Well,
saying I
let
don't
me
have to worry
finish
about it
my
because
phrase.
it is not something
you
that is
should
very
worry
vulnerable
about
for me.
You should worry about communicating with adults. You should worry about treating other people respectfully because this will affect your future employment opportunities. You first came in here and talked about how you put on your hoodie, your headphones, you don't even look around you in the periphery. That's dumb. That's stupid. You should worry about your safety. That's fundamentally
here.
unintelligent. White, black, yellow, red, I don't care. It's not smart to do. It's also not smart to come in and
Okay,
say we should get
okay.
men to stop raping
You
as
know
though that's
my
going to help
father, you
women.
know my father, but this
I'm
is
not
the
your
reason
father.
why.
I'm not
Here,
your father.
I
But
would
you come
not-
in here as though
I
you're going to
would
school
not-
somebody and cuss and yell and say you need to stop
no, no.
rapists.
I don't
Everyone
think
here
I'm
wants
gonna
to
school
stop
you. I don't think I'm gonna
rapists.
school you. I think
Everyone
you're-
here wants to stop rapists. Okay. The point is, this kind of doublespeak and this kind of rhetoric and these kinds of false platitudes don't help women. Do you know what you're doing? You're victimizing actual victims of rape. There is no 1 in 5 rape statistic. When you say men get away with it, we allow men to get off scot-free with rape, it's not true.
Yeah, it is.
And you absolve people
Yeah,
of
it
personal
is.
responsibility.
I
Leads
know
to
them.
a worse society.
I
It leads
know
to a
them.
polarized campus. It leads to, God forbid, actual rape cultures like we see across the
There's
Islamic
rape
world.
culture in this campus.
Is there?
Yep.
Okay, and then what is the
100%.
rape culture?
This is the rape culture on TCU is brewed up by, first of all, having twice as many women. Has twice as many. It creates a different social dynamic. Greek life.
So how do you change it?
Let me continue that first example. My friend who was raped within their first 2 weeks
It's
of
terrible.
college here, having lost her virginity to rape.
It's terrible.
The criminal who was uncharged was
Does he have a name?
pledge. I'm not going to release.
This
his
would go
name.
out to a lot of people.
The girl did
I would
not
love to
want
see him charged.
The girl. This is not mine. This is not my decision. She did not want to release his name. She doesn't want this to be a public thing.
Okay.
Don't judge her for that. So don't roll your head.
No,
Okay.
no. I
Okay,
am
so
making
let
a
me
judge.
get-
I am judging.
Okay. Well,
Not her. I'm judging
okay.
the decision.
You're judging her victim. So it's,
No, I'm
it's
judging
not-
the
it's not
decision.
your
That's a bad
business,
decision
okay?
because you know what? That guy could go forward and rape
And
another
you're-
woman. So the stupid false victim status, I don't want that guy to go out and
Blame
rape
the
somebody
school
else.
then, because she informed
Blame the school because a
She
guy
informed
raped
the
her and she
school.
didn't give the name.
She didn't want to put the name out publicly because she did not want to be.
How do we
associated.
stop a rapist if we can't charge him or get a name?
Here, let me.
How
talk.
do we stop a
Let me
rapist?
talk. I'm gonna answer your question.
Okay.
Let me.
How do we
This
stop
is
that
why
rapist
she
from
made
raping
the-
again?
She made this decision. Stopping a racist would be to put him in jail.
Yes.
To have the punishment for rape to be
Abs-
so significant not just taking away a swimming scholarship and attendance at Stanford for that rapist, but at this school, she did not want to put out the name and make it a public thing because she did not want to be associated with directly. This is a small school. She puts out his name, her name gets out there. She doesn't want that. She doesn't want to be known as a victim. Let me finish. The school, no. She did want to prevent that same person or his affiliates from raping again.
Okay.
So she told the school.
Okay, so the school and police have his name, and there was a
Correct.
he was charged.
He was he was moved out of because he lived in the same hall as her, Milton Daniel. He had to move out of the hall. Both freshmen see each other for the rest of the 4
So the
years.
police were given a name of a man who forcibly raped a woman, and you're telling me they just removed him from the hall. This is the story?
When it comes to conviction, there are other things that are needed. Proof,
Yes.
exceptional things, and in the state.
That's a big one. Will we not agree on that?
Yeah, obviously.
Proof is important.
Obviously.
Okay.
And so, when it comes to the practicalness of this event, it is. Let me talk because we talked about the culture. So I'm talking. I going back to the example because they were Greek, they were pledges, the rapists.
Okay.
And you want to know what his brothers did when they found out about this?
I'm guessing something bad.
Correct. Yeah. They did not go up to her and apologize and say, he's a bad egg. So and so, Greek fraternity, enter
No.
Greek words. Does not back this. We do not represent this. No, they harassed her. They said, do not ruin this kid's life for one dumb mistake. He was intoxicated. He was this. He wasn't thinking straight.
Sure.
He thought you were cute. Okay? That's what they did. And that's why it's systemic. I was a part of a fraternity here. I left because 2 members were put on our version of our internal Supreme Court. They were given chance after chance after chance. They were in positions of power within the TCU community to where they were subject to incoming freshmen, they were subject to other girls, and they used that power in ways where they ended up harassing these girls, sexually assaulting these girls.
That's
And
terrible.
Within the fraternity, they were given chance after chance after chance until they just became maybe inactive. Or they were not big enough, they were not a part of the fraternity enough to where they would shed badness in the light, and that's why I left.
Can I ask a question?
Correct.
Okay,
Yeah,
because
go
you went, you kind of, I think we'd both acknowledge you jumped from a few topics there, so I'd like to kind of zone in a couple, and then hopefully we can move forward. So you mentioned that this man raped her. The school knew about it. The police knew about it. He was simply moved to another house, simply moved to another dorm. Then you said that the Greek house knew about it and basically was encouraging, and they harassed her, right? Okay. Do you have any proof?
Eyewitness account, and that's probably one of the reasons why it wasn't like there was no GoPros everywhere. That's how it happens. That's how it happened.
We just said proof was really important. So any
Yeah.
proof of you just gave this whole example to paint a picture of white male privilege on campus and this rape culture. Any proof?
And proof. I believe her, and
Okay.
and there was, she lost her virginity. There's stains. There's blood. I'm sure if she wanted to call the FBI and make a big deal out of have her name and face painted everywhere, I'm sure.
Okay.
Yet there isn't the existence of DNA proof.
Okay. So here's my point. We have to find some common ground and agree on some premises here. So no proof there that you would be able to present that anyone has
No,
presented.
You may be going in the
But-
direction of assuming that she wasn't raped, and I would strongly advise you don't do that.
Well, I'll take it under advisement. But I do have proof that there's not a rape culture on campus.
You have proof there's no
Yeah,
rape
the statistic
culture.
is not a 1 in 5 rape. According to the FBI, it's 1 in over 1,800.
Okay.
There's not a rape culture on campus in the United States. These rapes do not occur without consequence when there's proof presented. The constant is not men getting away with rape. I'm certainly not convinced of that. I'm not convinced by your account. It sounds like a harrowing account. I feel horrible that had occurred. So you think I feel good about that?
I don't
but
say
my
you feel
point
good,
is-
I say don't give a f. I'm saying
well,
you're
then
here-
listen, you can ascribe motive
you're
all you
here
want,
to
but
be
I do have proof.
controversial to get some laughs from some people, to put other people down.
Who
all
came in and
you're doing-
insulted
all you're
somebody?
doing
Who
is
came in here and
pushing out.
insulted someone? The only person who's insulted anyone all day here, all day, is you.
Okay.
You
I
came
don't- I
in
don't feel
cussing
bad
and
for
yelling
that.
and swearing.
No, because I'm pissed.
I get
This
it.
is serious.
I get
when
it.
you say
This
there's no
is
f***ing rape culture and you have a proof of that, you say you don't have the
I
statistics.
do have proof and there is no rape
If
culture.
If you're a girl, you don't got to go out. You don't want to put out and say, hey, I was raped. You don't want to do that.
You don't want to be raped if you're a girl.
Obviously, we were talking about the statistics.
No, but you said you
You're
don't want to.
saying
You don't
that
want to
there's
go
not
for
a 1 in 5%.
Yeah, there is no rape culture in the United States campus. I don't agree. And the statistics don't reflect that. So if you had proof,
Statistics are you reading?
the statistics of according to the FBI.
20% of women and 12% of men are raped on college campuses.
Incorrect.
This is the biggest research university, Columbia University statistics.
I would love for you to come and sit down when you have the microphone, and I would love to talk about that with you. Now you see, this is why. This is not me being rude. Same thing. I gave Chanel. Sorry, Chanel. I apologize. See, she's not going to give me guff for it. She sees it was an easy mistake. I wanted her to have her opportunity to speak. I don't necessarily agree with her, but I would say it was very respectful. You were cussing, yelling, coming in,
this is not
a
about
little
cussing.
bit emotional, and I want you to have your opportunity to speak as well. And so it's disrespectful for her to yell out. We're having a conversation between
I
two
disagree.
people.
This is not about cement. This is not about being like, we're not in a parliamentary system
It's
where
a-
you're not allowed to interrupt and shit like that. This is important.
You're actually allowed
I
to
want
interrupt in a parliamentary system. You're talking to someone who comes from
my
Canada. We
God,
have a
shut
parliamentary
the
system. Shut the fuck up with facts.
the
Thank you very
up,
much.
yeah.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you.
away from
There you go. Thank you. Hey, did you enjoy this video? Here's the thing, you're here, this is the end of it, so we don't care because you already watched it. But if you really didn't like it and you want to justify it, leave a comment below telling us why you didn't like the video. And if you liked us, let us know. And subscribe to the channel, because that lets the overlords at YouTube know that, you know what? You're all right.